Goatsquadtv, what up, y'all? So I'm just gonna go on a rant about a sort of bigotry that I'm not really feeling, especially amongst our people, us minority people. This idea that we look at people who we don't know how to differentiate between bums and people who are struggling. We just call bums and people who are struggling broke broke ninjas. Is how I would say broke ninjas. You know what I mean about that. I say the word, but I'm just for the sake of not being being anti-monetized or in any type of way. I'll say broke ninjas, right? This idea that so someone could work as a nurse, as a bank teller, or someone could work at a company, a Fortune 500 company, be a manager, and have their life together. And they could just look at somebody who's struggling, working two jobs, barely making ends meet, lives in his car or lives in her, who's living day by, week to week on the checks, and we somehow call them broke ninjas. This idea that, especially as minority people, we just like to look at people to make ourselves look better. We look at people and call them broke ninjas. It's ignorance, man. It's ignorance at its highest point. I don't like it. I think it's whack. It's a form of bigotry amongst our people. Um, I can't stand it. I don't like it when rappers do it. I don't like when rappers go out their way to go and call people broke ninjas on their records. You know what I mean? As if like everybody who doesn't make 6 or 7 figures has a house and doesn't have all these things that are to the average person now seems damn near unattainable because it's so expensive to live. We sit there and make fun of people for that. We laugh at them. We look down on people. I've never been a fan of that. I think that's whack. That behavior is whack. And anybody that tries to spread that behavior, especially amongst our people, whether it be black or Puerto Ricans, or just in general, any minority, race, or color that has urban culture in it, for lack of a better word, should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. You know what I mean? Like when you date somebody, right? If you're a man, you don't look at a woman as an object. You look at a woman and just say all these what's are all here for the paper. Or let's switch it around. The woman looks at a dude and sees that he's a janitor, and she calls him a broke ninja and feels embarrassed to have to tell her parents because she's went to college and when she went to school, did all these things. Oh, my husband or my boyfriend is works at a grocery store or works as a janitor or works at McDonald's, and you're so ashamed of that, so you call them a broke ninja and make them feel like they're not worth you even talking to. You even go as far as to call people out and try to make it seem like you have to be on my level based on an expectation. If somebody really loves you, people, they're not gonna look at you they're not gonna look at you as an object. They're not gonna judge you for how much money you have in your pocket, and they definitely not gonna judge you based on how you present yourself financially. They're gonna look at you. They're gonna see somebody who's trying to work hard. Now, a bum is somebody who tries to live off somebody. That's a completely different ballgame. Somebody who's not making any effort towards themselves, somebody that doesn't do anything to better their life, and somebody that won't work. That's a bum. Man or woman, or regardless of what, that's a bum. That's who you need to have your ire to. And even that, I still don't like calling them people bums. I think name calling in general is corny. It's a bigotry behavior. It's a bigot behavior. Um, Ain't nobody out here bigger and better than anyone. How many of you people that I mentioned who work as medical assistants, work as secretaries, work as bank tellers, work as managers of companies, Whatever. How many of y'all are on the Forbes list? What makes you think you could just sit there and try to criticize somebody based on how much money they make and make them feel like they're not worth it, to make yourself feel good because you insecure? What it does, it says more about you. If you're willing to call somebody a broke ninja and make them feel bad about themselves, that says more about you than it does about that person. When you see somebody with a cardboard box saying he's homeless, and you assume that that person's on drugs, instead of really thinking like, man, these times are really hard. I don't know if this person's real or not, but I feel bad for them, and I'm not trying to sit there and say it's the feel bad for everybody, but there are certain situations where you need to be empathetic. Listen, all you people that talk like you got all this money and look down on people, you're one or two mistakes away from being as broke as the person outside with the cardboard box. Just remember that. You're one or two mistakes financially away from being that person you're making fun of. So just know that when you're like that, take a deep look into yourself. Would you rather be a person with some type of honor and class and someone who's non-judgmental, someone who doesn't look at people and tries to think that, you be all judgy towards those people? Or are you going to be the judgy, fool, ignorant, bigot person who's going to sit there and look at your fellow minority, or even look at a white person who's broke, or whatever the case may be, just a human being that's broke, and call them a broke ninja? You got to be better than that, man. I don't like that behavior. I never have. I never will. We need to outgrow those stereotypes, man. And we need to start doing a better job of being better human beings. Because when we're dead, we can't take none of this with us. All this stuff is status stuff. It's cool. It sounds good for a record. But in all reality, it don't make the person. You understand? Let me tell you something. All the real ones know. You make the money don't make you. If you're a person who gets changed by money, you're a cornball. And you might not care about being a cornball. And that's fine. Hey, that's the reason why Curtis Jackson's got money. He don't mind being a cornball, saying if money don't change you, that you're not really making money. That's a cornball move. He could say that, but he's a millionaire cornball. If he wants to say that, that's fine. Let him say that. He's also a bigot, and I never really cared for him. And anybody that sits there and supports bigot behavior, especially amongst their own people, are just as bad as the people trying to kill their own people. So, Goat Squad TV, this is a food for thought. I'm speaking my mind because I'm getting tired of hearing that. And I'm getting tired of us not knowing the difference between a bum and somebody who's struggling. And no, I'm not speaking on my personal experiences. I will never post my personal experiences on YouTube or Facebook for that matter. That's not for y'all to know. But even if I was to post that stuff, you're a cornball if you think that I'm whack when I'm here trying to do the best I can to make a better living. How about you stop counting people's money and just mind your business? Goat Squad TV.